Hello and welcome. I am Thomas Porteous and you're watching NewsX World. Let's take a look at some of the top stories. The United States tariffs on Chinese goods up to 245%, citing Beijing's retaliatory actions. Trump officials say the ball is now in China's court to strike a deal. China says it wants to shake hands and not fists amid rising trade tensions with the United States. President Xi Jinping visits Malaysia today to boost regional ties in Southeast Asia. China appoints Li Chenggang as its new trade envoy, blasting the US for tariff barriers and trade bullying. The shakeup comes as Beijing digs in amid a deepening trade war and economic strain. Britain says the legal definition of sex at birth. The landmark ruling backs gender-critical campaigners but affirms the Equality Act. US President Donald Trump calls Harvard a joke and says it doesn't deserve any federal funding. He threatens to remove its tax-exempt status over refusals to accept government oversight. Israeli troops will stay in Gaza's buffer zones even after a war settlement, says Defense Minister Israel Katz. The move comes as ceasefire talks stall and Palestinians are forced into shrinking southern areas. The Kremlin says it's ready to do everything to help resolve tensions between the US and Iran over Tehran's nuclear program. Moscow may even act as a guarantor for a future deal alongside China. A German palliative care doctor is accused of killing 15 patients with lethal drugs and setting fire to hide evidence. Prosecutors say the death toll could rise, though the doctor denies the charges. The escalating trade war between the United States and China has reached a new milestone. The US has now imposed a staggering 245% tariff on Chinese goods in response to Beijing's retaliatory actions. This move follows a series of tit-for-tat tariffs, with the US previously levying 145% on Chinese imports, while China imposed a 125% duty on US products. Meanwhile, President Trump has authorized a national security investigation into the US's reliance on critical minerals like cobalt, lithium, and rare earth metals, which are essential for electric vehicles and military equipment. This review highlights concerns over potential supply chain disruptions, which could jeopardize national security and economic. Diplomatic exchange. China has made it clear that it is willing to engage in talks, but only if the US shows respect and refrains from disparaging remarks. Chinese media has sharply criticized US claims of being ripped off, calling them misleading and accusing the US of living beyond its means. These have even disrupted US companies like Tesla, with new restrictions affecting production plans as this nervously. Asian hit today with Macy's and Japan seeing declines. In a related President Malaysia more in global alliances. Joined by a fellow at the Hudson Institute located in Tokyo. Further, Dr. Nagal, thank you very much for United States. Dr. Nagal, what do you think? Some technical We will move on today. We move over to the Middle East embassy in the 19th in Oman on negotiations between Washington and Tehran. The talks come after Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi declared that Tehran's uranium enrichment program is negotiable. Speaking after a cabinet, Iran's enrichment is a real accepted matter. We are ready to build confidence, but enrichment itself is not up for discussion. Stance from an called on Iran eliminates going beyond Iran simply points to 2015. Araghchi called from the Trump administration. Washington could derail. He also added that Iran is a but will see tension. Advocate since President has described as President has reinstated sweeping sanctions on Iran to Iran. Leader talks. Talks had begun. May or not resolve. Demands affirming Oman. Oman's role.
خوبش شده با دقت و غیر مشخصه برای طرف مقابلم مشخصه برای ما مشخصه ما به شکل بهتری قبول نداریم میشناسیم در طرف مقابل اما به توانایی خودمون
negotiation between to add on that.
ایران یک امر واقعی ما در برای به مثلا ولی اصل موضوع غنی رو از زن رو نظر روند سه به مزاحال ما طلب بشیم از نظر من هستم که ما مذاکره توافق بتونیم شونه همبز و
voice to meet his Iranian in of negotiations. Iran's negotiable. Speaking after he said is a real build confidence. This followed from who called eliminates earlier on to 7% under the 2000 deal. Criticise what he positions from the Trump administration could derail added that Iran is open to wait to see the UN's last week since President Trump during his first term were sides as Trump in January has including sweeping in letter supreme leader, but also warning of bills. Khomeini acknowledged that caution yield result with Oman confirming by Pratik Joshi, researcher further between last week. The new ones are US envoy former and we walks. What is the biggest deal breaker on the table for both Iran and these? Might have had some more again. Ukraine conflict, where in latest station injured at least 3 people and caused significant damage to civilian homes and infrastructure of the strike. Highlights vital in a double tap attack of one and injuring these tactics to hinder officers have them significant evicted for founded by the late opposite Navalny Antonio Sergei Kovalin sentenced to 5.5 extremism. Their argument is politically motivated. Meanwhile, the immediate the foreign affairs the court's decision. Other route with in